Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. If you found yourself here, there may be a message for your healing journey, soul's evolution, transformation, or simply information. Today, I would like to talk about some ways that maybe you have some nonverbal evaluations going on. Maybe you felt like you just didn't matter anymore in somebody's life. And sometimes that does happen. You see, folks, when you're dealing with a narcissist, a lot of times they don't answer their phone for no apparent reason. Maybe even if you're sitting right next to them. And yes, if you share the same bed, they may have their back turned to you. If you're being overly nice, sometimes in your presence, or maybe they're being overly nice to people, they might be overly flirtatious because they want to capture your intention, maybe being more careless with your stuff and maybe some of theirs. Maybe not joining you at your family gatherings if you're still allowed to go, especially holidays and your birthdays or anything that you might find special, or disappearing on those days. Maybe walking in front of you or making themselves less available to avoid you. These are all things that probably didn't make you feel very good. You see, narcs or toxic people play mind games with their target because they enjoy the entertainment value. And maybe you're the puppet, or maybe they're the puppet master. You see, victims usually have unconditional loyalty and we're classified as their supply. Love to hate or hate to love, is that what they say? Freedom? Well, not really, not anymore. No, not a whole lot of freedom, right? They like to control and manipulate and even maybe fake happy, fake intimacy, and fake everything else. Punishing and hurting you or their partners, you'll hear from their past stories. That's what they do to keep their supplies in constant guilt, shame, grief, and everything else in between. It's excessive and it makes you feel maybe very sad or vulnerable. And then they're quick to replace partners, and maybe they've had lots of superficial relationships before, not giving you closure, or maybe you thought there was and they're still hovering around. The list can go on, friends. But just remember, sometimes you just have to make sense of what doesn't make sense. It's hard to keep your spirits up. And maybe you did have a great spirit before. You had great energy and your vibration was high and you felt strong. A lot of empaths absorb a lot of vibrations of other people. And maybe you felt like you had lots of high vibes. But it's okay. Highly sensitive people usually feel drained after these energy vampires attack you and your body, mind, and soul. So sometimes it's okay to excuse yourself. Maybe cleanse your energy if you must know what's going on. These vibrations or psychic attacks, yes, they can harm you. And maybe someday when you've removed yourself from these experiences, you will feel your beautiful energy resurfacing again. And those around you will feel good or better, and you'll be uplifted. And maybe your uplifting self. So just remember that your demeanor or your energy is worth investing in or reinvesting in yourself. That's what self-care is. It's always sacred. Try not to be judgmental or angry with yourself because it is just what it is. You can't help what happens sometimes, and you have to have sympathy for yourself when all else fails. I would suggest just removing yourself from these situations and maybe just write down past, present, future, where you were, where you are, and where you'd like to be, because that'll be giving you a lot of strength and hope for your healing journey. Always know that each day is a new venture and you can trust where you are. Where you've been is somewhere maybe more painful. It takes a lot of courage, friends and family, but your beautiful spirit is just that. It's a way of handling things with integrity, value, and core at the core of you. You were that person you always knew. And maybe now you're just a revised version of your better self, your higher heart. So people will notice once you start resurfacing of who you are, your beautiful essence. And don't worry, you don't have to explain to anybody how you got to where you are now, because those that are in your circle of trust will be there anyway. And maybe you have some new family and friends. It's hard, I know, to heal from these experiences, but it's okay to be just right where you are. It's the easiest way to find self when you have self care and your healing journey begins. Take some time for that today, friends, to know that you are worthy and you will be okay. And so is.